All right, howdy ho, and welcome to Ross February stream. This time inside. Too cold outside. Can you imagine being in Spain? And everybody's, of course, assuming that it's gonna be sunshine and beach life and all that stuff. And yet here I'm wearing a fleece jacket. And today's topics are a couple of festivals happening this spring, and a little bit update on the workout sector, and of course some news regarding the channel, some old forgotten um, feature videos, and which are bygones by now, and some new stuff coming your way. We're gonna talk about that, and in general, of course, open for questions, and I'm trying to do my best to answer your questions. And of course, people are always assuming, I think, that I'm gonna drink something. And as you people usually know, what I'm usually drinking is beer or whiskey in some cases. And this time it's all about red wine. You can even see the screen right there, you know. So cheers, let's do it the Spanish way. Cheap red wine and all that. So bienvenido. Gotta say, pretty nice taste considering that this beauty costs something like €4.5, which would be, I guess, roughly 3, 4 times the price in Finland. But Spanish people know their drinks, they know their habits, and they don't have ridiculous alcohol taxes and whatever you have in different countries. Finland is, of course, among the top leading countries when it comes to ridiculous alcohol tax systems or whatever. But here, luckily, we can enjoy some wine with a proper price tag. So, how are you people doing? You have your questions ready, I hope, because I'm ready to answer. And if not, we're gonna tackle some questions regarding a couple of festivals. Now, a lot of people have been wondering, okay, since you're in Spain and all that stuff, what are you gonna do? What kind of a local shows you're gonna be attending to? And the answer is pretty much nothing. All the shows which seem to be happening in Spain are mostly around Barcelona, Madrid, or cities like Bilbao. So basically, the nearest ones are some 4, 5, maybe 6 hours away, and some even farther from that. Now, people who are not very familiar with European geography might not even realize how big country Spain is. No, it's not exactly Russia or China in the terms of size, land mass, and all, but distances are quite big. So we living here in southern Spain, it's not it's just like a kind of a trick to travel to some nearby city and see some local bands. So technically speaking, only the bigger cities have those interesting gigs and whatnot. So me wanting to see some shows, I'm gonna travel to Norway and Finland. I know it sounds kind of a ridiculous and peculiar and all that stuff, but that's the thing here. It is the scene in metal, in terms of metal, that is not exactly a very big thing in southern Spain. So northern Spain, or somewhere between those extremities, especially bigger cities like Barcelona and Madrid, it's very different. So that's why already booked tickets for Inferno 2023, which is only 2 months. Taking a look at the calendar, roughly 2 months away. So really stoked about to open my festival season 2023 with some 4 days of festival madness, meeting friends, seeing some good bands, and hoping to get some proper, interesting interviews done. Already started preparing for that. That is, sent my request to people organizing all that stuff. So let's hope that all you Patreon supporters there are getting worth your money with all those interviews and whatever. And of course, I try to do some footage from Norway in general to in order to recap the whole festival. So maybe people who are not attending this year or previous years have some kind of a vague idea what this festival is all about. So my plan is to do a proper preview video of the festival and also recap it like previous years from festivals like Steelfest, Midcourt Blood, and whatever. And on top of that, um, yeah, Steelfest. Steelfest is also getting its own preview video later on. And what else? I'm gonna recap it as well, and also already planning to do some interviews, at Steelfest. So two big festivals, Steelfest being 3 days, and Inferno 4 days. That means quite a lot of interviews supposed to happen. Can't exactly say which ones so far because nothing has been agreed except one band at Steelfest, and that Red Buens ended. They already pretty quickly actually replied to my request to do the interview. So there's that. But anyway, welcome to the stream, and let's get going. So wherever you people are coming from, it's nice to have you here. So once again, feel free to ask me just anything, and I'll try to pick your questions out of there. And should you want to support Rauta channel and these festivals happening without actually being a Patreon supporter, once again, you can always do a little bit of a donation to the channel, which then again will benefit me and my crew, that is camera people, so we can actually do those trips. Now, there is a plan. Some people already asked me that if I'm going to Beyond the Gates or other festivals later on this year, and it's actually great. I mean, it's quite likely that I am actually going to the Beyond Gates in August this year. Nothing has been guaranteed yet because, of course, traveling costs money. There is plane tickets, there is hotels. You gotta eat something and drink something. I mean, it's not your problem what I eat or drink, obviously, but plane tickets and hotels that actually cost something. So that's where your Patreon money, that is, whoever you are supporting the channel, that's where your money goes. Booking those hotels, that is the priority. Not so much plane tickets. That's what we try to cover ourselves. But that limits how many trips I can actually do with my camera people, because it doesn't really help that even if I can go, even if somebody was giving me like, hey, here's your plane ticket, you can sleep on my couch. That only helps this far. I mean, everything helps. If somebody can, give me a plane ticket, then I can just pretty much help my camera people. Like, okay, here's some money for you to travel. But in essence, as long as things cost money, that's how we depend on these things. So thus far, two festivals are locked down, and I'm traveling from Spain first to Inferno in 2 months, and then roughly about month or 6 weeks, 5 6 weeks later, Steelfest is happening, and that's my second festival. So nothing is for sure guaranteed or locked in our calendars what happens in after Steelfest. But Beyond the Gates is very likely. And then there's this festival called Helsinki Metal Festival, which is a new one, also happening in August. That is very, very likely to happen because it's only a couple of hours drive from me. And the lineup is good enough for me to go. And I know the promoter, the main jefe, if you will. And as such, I am planning to do some material with them as well, and then some interviews. So let's keep our thumbs up for that and see how it goes. And as said, I will later on go through the lineups for these given festivals, and when I know what's been agreed in terms of interviews, I will let you know. No, not right. This is not actually box wine. This bottle costs for like €4.5. Proper wine, and actually pretty good. And yeah, Dionys Lucifer, Rauta. This is Rauta. This is how you should say it. So yeah, it could be desperate if we really needed to go for box wines costing like €1 or less. €1 roughly being $1. Those who cannot use Google to figure out how much euro versus dollar is. But the thing here is this local wine is cheap. I don't know how local it is, but Spanish wine anyway. So this is good for terms of quality. In Finland, I could probably get a decent IPA for the price of this kind of a wine here. So think about that. Let it sink. And Bremons is having a hazy pale lager. That's always a good choice. Madrid, blackberry wine. That sounds good. Now, I must say, I'm not a wine person. The actual, actually, why I'm having wine here is just I wanted to give it a little bit of a Spanish flavor to this particular stream. So it's not like I'm a wine drinking guy, really. I rarely have it, even with my friends. When we're having Tex-Mex and all. But sometimes I do have a glass of wine, but mostly when somebody's bringing in the bottle and we're gonna enjoy some tortillas or whatever. Not really. It actually takes more than 6 hours to cross Spain from this part, which is close to Fuengirola. I think it takes something like 8 or 9 hours to get to the northern border of Spain, maybe even 10. So yeah, it's really a lot of traveling. So that's why I don't really go. But I think Madrid was like 6 hours away, maybe five with the train, but it's still quite a lot for, not some must see show. I mean, I would probably do it if it was something like once in a lifetime thing, but just to see some local Norwegian black metal band, not so much, because I can actually see those in Norway or Finland or whatever. And why I mentioned Norwegian black metal bands is I think Djevel from Norway actually played a couple of shows in Spain recently, or are supposed to play. Anyway, not worth the money and traveling because it's just easier to see those bands in Norway and Finland. Yeah, I think that miles per hour replacing kilometers per hour, that would really, really solve it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. What else? I'm just reading your comments in case you're wondering what the hell I'm staring right there. And yeah, Brian Mons, definitely put Steelfest in your calendar. Try planning already. The lineup is pretty much every year a killer one, at least if you ask me. And even if there was like less killer bands, that would mean more time to socialize and just eat burgers and have beers and actually do interviews, without actually missing something important. But that's quite of a impossible task at Steelfest. I'm always kind of bound to miss important bands when at Steelfest because whatever I'm doing, taking a piss, eating something, having a beer, talking to my friends, some cool band is playing. So it's always kind of a for me sacrificing something in order to gain something. That is, if I want to do say an interview, I'm gonna miss something. That happened last year. Last year, for example, I had the talk with my friends who played Sarkrista. We had great talks, and well, bands like Destroyer 666 were playing, but that's what you have to do. And I'm always figuring out whether talking to my friends, which I don't get to see that often, is more important than band, which I might actually see. I know it sounds kind of weird, but hey, things are like that, especially as you get older and get more experience and you notice, okay, I've seen this band 5 times already. Might not be that important to you. But then again, I also understand people who are coming from different parts of the world and spending their money on, tickets. You probably want to see the main bands. That's kind of a given. I mean, who wouldn't? All right. Yeah, John, Wet Words End Day is something different. Never been actually musically my kind of a thing, but to be honest, I'm stoked to get them interviewed because they're something different. And they're longtime veterans of the scene, so I'm happy that they already said yes. Hello, Vegelius. Things are going fine in Spain. Could be warmer. And recently, there was actually flooding. There was like really heavy raining for like 3 days and nights row. That means some roads were flooding, which means the police actually cut some roads, which mean I couldn't actually walk to my local gym because the kind of a long route to the gym would actually be too much. So I had had a little bit of a rescheduling happening because of the flooding. And by the time flooding was over, it has been really windy, like storm warning and all that stuff for a day or two now, which means there almost was a restaurant that almost fell into the ocean, to the sea, because the winds were bringing so much sand and shaking the buildings, the terrace area. So things have been kind of wild. First flooding and then super windy. Hermiseri is living in the Middle East for work. That's gotta be something exotic and interesting. Yeah, I guess no shows for you, my friend. But gotta say, that sounds interesting. I am kind of envious what is happening. Oh, Brian Mans. Okay, thanks for translating €5, 7.5 Canadian dollars. Yes, Surigata is very correct. Spain is like Portugal in terms of having good wine for a nice price. I was in Portugal last weekend and it was a nice place. I learned so much about Portuguese delicacies like those pastries. Really great. And now I'm already feeling that I'm getting used to having some pastries with coffee. So hence today when I was doing groceries, I had to buy some Spanish. I don't even remember their names because I was like blah 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 blah. Some perillas, whatever, whatever. So I'm like, okay, Spanish pastries fitting my black coffee right there. Actually, coffee with milk, coffee con leche. Hello, Waldman. How are you doing, man? Yeah, euro has been bouncing on and off with the crisis and things like that. Yeah, Surika, I totally understand why you drink wine with meals. Talking about dollar and euro, it was funny that when I was in States something like 10 years ago, it was like $1, sorry, €1 was like $1.25. So it was really cheap. So everything in United States cost quite little compared to what we're used to. So for example, if we were buying food, I was like, hey, this is very, very cheap versus what we would have in Europe. Vechelli was asking where in Spain am I? So I am close to Fuengirola, very close to southern border of Spain. Actually, technically speaking, the border is really nearby. I mean, I can actually, if I take a look from the terrace above the forest and buildings, I can actually see the seaside, which is technically speaking, if it was super clear, I could see all the way to the African coastline. But I guess it's too far away from that. But the plan is go when my parents, for example, come to visit, is to travel to Gibraltar, and then we could actually see to the African border. So it is really, really nice. Very, very Mediterranean feeling and all that stuff. And all that stuff. Hello to Russia. I hope things are not too bad there. I know things are really, really fracked right there. Yeah, inflation. That's a one big sucker, and everybody's suffering from that. Benji, what kind of a malt liquor is that? The one that you mentioned, the old English stuff. Sounds interesting. And regarding Midgård's plot, when the bands are announced, nobody has told me. So I am as clueless as you are. I hope to get some kind of information, but I don't know why festivals like that are sitting on the actual information. Maybe there is some kind of a you know um, I don't know if it's NDA kind of a thing, but they have kind of a secrecy. I actually yesterday I was talking on Rauta's Discord or Rauta Cord, like we call it. Like there was this festival announcement in Jackson, Tennessee, and it just basically said, I mean, the press release literally just announced like something like 12 bands and blah blah blah. Bring your own whatever chairs and drinks or whatever. No bands. I mean, what kind of news it is about a festival if you don't announce any of the bands? I would say, yeah, come to Rauta Festival. We have 15 interesting bands. And then people are like, yeah, let's book the tickets. And I'm like, yeah, they're going to be local bands. Thanks for your $100. I mean, the only news festival has any kind of a worth of importance, any kind of a word of announcing is how much you can actually bring interesting bands, and that means name dropping, literally name dropping. That's the only purpose of releasing some kind of a news about a festival, not how many bands you have, because it doesn't matter whether you have 10 bands or 100 bands. If your bands are worth shit, I mean, like what does it matter how many bands you have if they're, for example, or Christian white metal rock bands? So my point here is that kind of a zero news. That was the shittiest press release about a festival ever I've seen. This is actually pretty good wine. I could become a wine drinking dude here in Spain. Yes, Waldman, I'm still in Spain. Hence the background. Um, going to be here in Spain until June, or actually now it looks like I'm going back to Finland. You know, when I'm taking the flight to Steelfest, and then going directly back home from Steelfest and not coming back here. Um, Regarding the tips from US to Steelfest, I'm making that kind of a helpful video. I hope to be helpful um, later on. That is supposed to be next week. But basically, check out your flight regulations. I mean, there's supposed to be no COVID related things anymore. So, in that sense, you probably just need to keep your passport ready. Also, of course, book book some kind of accommodation, whether it's sleeping in a tent or at the gymnasium um, accommodation, which is actually part of the ticket plans there, or if you're going to reside somewhere out of Hyvinkää in a hotel or Airbnb or whatever, just make sure that you book one early enough. Now, doesn't really matter if you're in Hyvinkää area or just in Helsinki. You can just pretty much use the local train system or whatever. So doesn't matter. But my previous Steelfest videos might be helpful in terms of information. They pretty much give you insight how to travel in Finland and how to come to Finland and all that stuff. So if you cannot wait for this year's information package regarding Steelfest, you can take a look at the Steelfest 2022 information video, and that should cover you all the information you need in terms of traveling, whether you're coming from USA or other parts of Europe. That information should totally cover everything. And if you have questions regarding Steelfest, you can always drop me a comment in one of the videos, preferably the right video, of course, then it would be helpful to others. Or you can drop me questions in Facebook or Instagram, doesn't really matter, or even use email. I can be reached, and of course, Rauta's Discord. So if you need help with traveling or accommodation, just ask me. Yes, MB. Let's see each other at Steelfest. Um, Naturally, no, I'm not gonna do any kind of a running the bulls thing. I hate that how they treat animals here. So that part of Spain sucks big time. Yes, Waldman, definitely going to watch Super Bowl. I'm actually going to the local bar nearby to see Super Bowl. I just made sure on Monday that they're open and will show Super Bowl. It's a sports bar actually run by Finnish people, so I'm going to be there tomorrow. And hence, I wasn't doing this stream tomorrow because things like that. Hello, I don't know how the name is once again pronounced. To me, it's something like Onarep. I don't know how it is pronounced. Sorry, I still cannot read Russian letters. Yeah, Turkey would be something to visit in terms of cakes and all. And coming to closer to me. Hello, Alba. How are you doing, mate? I'm doing good. It's nice to see you as well. Um, yeah, I haven't been streaming on Twitch because, to be honest, it felt like nobody's using that, and felt like it's just easier to do on PS5 YouTube streaming than Twitch. Now that I have a Xbox here, I could do some kind of a Twitch streaming, but you know the walls here are almost like paper, so I actually have to tune my voice down a little bit because um, the background noise, just can't do that too much. But let's see if I will be back at Twitch later on. Well, my guess is that Eagles will win. I am yet to decide whether or not I will be betting some money on it, but I would say Eagles will win it. It might be interesting game though, and I hope it to be interesting and well balanced games. But I'm pretty sure that Eagles will take the trophy. And yeah, Vegelius, yeah, gotta keep eyes out open for those Gibraltar apes. But definitely stoked to see them when going to Gibraltar. That's definitely the plan. Um, Somebody's messing up with my camera. Some ghosts. What's my favorite DSBM band? Silencer was quite okay, but I would say Abyssicate and some early Shining. And regarding Nightside, it's funny that you asked because yesterday I mailed our new demo to at least one label. Today I sent it to Northern Heritage, and there was one other label which I also contacted in terms of like, are you interested? So the demo of Nightside is now done. I'm just gonna call it demo 2023, and we're not gonna put it out there for people to listen because actually that is just supposed to be the kind of old school demo. That is, we're gonna send it to some labels and see if they're interested, and then we're gonna figure out some kind of a budget for recording. But I can promise you it's a killer demo. It's really good with 3 songs, really strong sound, and I'm personally happy with the vocals as well. It's not everybody's cup of tea, that's kind of a given, but those looking for some fierce and violent, fast-paced yet melodic black metal with a little bit of keyboards in the play are gonna like it. I can pretty much guarantee that. We already got very nice feedback from one of the labels, so yeah, I think it's gonna be killer. And my guys who are in Finland, and we got now new rehearsal plays, are doing new songs. So there will be some really cool nightside stuff coming your way. Don't know yet when, obviously, because the album is not ready. But we have a few songs more than just the ones from the demo. But looking for a new full album, not gonna release the demo anyway. And I hope that we get to play some gigs already during the summer and more in the fall. Don't know when, where, how many, but we will announce that. And so far, the only social media channel for Nightside is Facebook. We'll see about other sites like Instagram maybe later on. I don't know if that's useful for us or if it makes any sense because it's not like we're super commercial or anything. But looking forward to just kind of get the information out there. That's what matters. To have the channel for news. All right, Benji, thanks for the update on Old English. Sounds interesting. Yeah, Natred, you should be easy to smuggle. You're a small and tiny personality. You could fit in the backpack. MB, yes, indeed, you're spot on. I mean, Nightside and Annihilators are both active, so vocals are still happening. So session work is of course on the table as well. So if that is possible to do with some other bands, I mean, why not? As long as the band is interesting enough, and if the lyrical content, whether done by me or some others, are out there, yeah, that could be done. I personally have no problem with session work, but yeah, Night Set and Annihilators are the ones that are active. Checked out. I am not sure about your question. Steelfest USA, like what would that be? Kaskana is asking what are my favorite non-fiction books? Well, biographies, personally. Um, for example, the Metal Crew biography and Ozzy Osbourne biography. Really, really nice ones. I'm kind of a sucker for biographies nowadays. I don't even care that much about fiction these days, in terms of books. That is, when it comes to TV and movies, it's a different story. But when I pick up a book these days, I am kind of a very, very casual reader. I don't read much books. I have too many magazines and geeky stuff to read, and I'm kind of restless. So when I read, I try to go for biographies. For example, I have this nice book, unfinished, but I left it in Finland because it's really thick one, something like 800 pages or so. It's about this now deceased but very, very famous Finnish actor and singer and beyond multi-talent dude, Vesa-Matti Loiri. I was reading his biography before coming to Finland. I hope to finish the book before traveling to Spain, but alas, didn't happen. But yeah, those are the kind of favorite books. I am entertaining myself, with their real life stories, like how they became what they are, what they were doing, and how they achieved success and whatnot. And they're usually fun because it's kind of a combining tragic elements like deaths or whatever to something like highly entertaining anecdotes throughout the careers. So that's why. But yeah, apart from biography books, I don't know if I actually have. I mean, those kind of a gaming books, they don't really count. They're just, you know, rules and stuff like that. Oh, did Vikernes turn 50? Well, to be honest, I don't think he replies. For example, a couple of weeks ago, I asked him on Twitter if he would be up for interview. I mean, it's not very likely, but people were pushing me to ask him about it because, of course, Burzum interview, it would be big news for any kind of stuff. And I kind of had to ask him. I know what the answer is going to be, but if you don't ask, you never got to know for sure. But of course, he didn't even reply because he's a kind of a special character, to put it nicely. Have I any? Have I already listened to something interesting from year 2023? Yes, I have, and I actually have reviewed some material from this year on the channel. For example, that obituary one, which is definitely one of my favorite albums so far. Also, the new sleep research facility slash whatever the Gaelic Welsh name was, uh, Lulun, something like that. Really, really hard to pronounce or even remember the name. That is a kind of a minimal dark ambient one, and I really, really liked it. It reminds me a lot of that Mick Harris project Lull that was released, I think December 2022, which I failed to review in year 2022. But a couple of really, really good year 2023 albums already done for the channel. So the reviews are already out. Some new ones are still coming. Like I was thinking this might actually show to you, but it doesn't. For example, this album was already sent to me. It's a band called Last Legion, and this is February 2023 release, and I hope to get it out not next week, but week after that because it's roughly mid February release. So quite new ones are happening on the channel. Also, for example, a new Sielun Vihollinen release is being sent to me, maybe already sent to me. But anyway, coming here probably in next 10 days or so. So, for example, that will be very, very fresh from the oven to be reviewed once I get the tape. I was told it's tape, not CD. I don't know why. Don't ask me. But I already got the files, and I'm now just waiting for the tape to arrive and then do the review. So yeah, fresh reviews coming up. Yeah, I know what Joe Moon is talking about. The Buried playing in the public back in 1990. I think it was done before a mall, supported by the local city of, I think, Rovaniemi, if I remember correctly. It's a cult classic thing, but not exactly something like, wow, these guys are so cool. But I mean, that's how it was back in the early 90s. You know, extreme metal was very, very new in Finland, and Beherit was definitely leading the way, pioneering, if you will. Yes, Brian Munch, I can definitely vouch for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It's a game I really, really liked a lot. And looking forward to play some of the DLCs, which I haven't yet finished. I'm halfway the Paris DLC. Waldman, unfortunately, I haven't gotten the Memoriam promo. I don't know why. I used to get all the previous ones. This one, nope. So I gotta check it out later on from Spotify or whatever. And VT, yes, Vickerness is on Twitter, but I guess he's very, very casually using it. Yes, Jack Todd. I play in a couple of bands. Nightside is more active than Annihilatus, but both bands are actually active at this moment. Annihilatus' third album is actually mostly recorded, actually more than a year ago. I don't know why it's put on ice by my colleague, but yeah, it's done. And Nightshade just recorded three new songs uh, less than 2 months ago, late December, and I recently got the mastered uh, tapes or sorry tracks from the mixing mastering guy. So yeah, very very new stuff. And Brian Mons, regarding the physical copies of Nightside, yeah, I've been hoping for that CD reissue from Goatworks for over a year now. That was supposed to come out like last spring, the CD version, because the LP was already out in late 2021, and that was sold out instantly. So I was hoping him to make CD, and he said but I'm referring to the label guy of Codeworks. He was supposed to do the CD for spring 2022. Things didn't really fold out as the way they were supposed to, so it was postponed. And then Satanic Warmasters Lauda was supposed to do the inlay. It was supposed to come in maybe summer, maybe fall of 2022. Still not out, and the label is barely even replying to my emails, so it kind of sucks. So let's see about that. But this new release, whatever it will be, an album, I think. I mean, we're not really looking forward to do a demo or EP. Yes, it's going to be physical copy. We're not settling for some Bandcamp release. I know there are labels who want to release it because I know our demo is really a killer one. I'm not just giving you some stupid sales pitch. I know the music is really really good, so it's just for us up to see which kind of a label we're hooking up with. I'll check that happens. I mean, the information about me playing in the bands that has always been there in Metal Archives, but I don't know. Maybe that wasn't obvious like 4 years ago because those bands were, I mean, not that active. I mean, Annihilate is reactivated in year 2016, so it has been out there for quite a while. But Nightside was on hiatus for like 20 years. We only got back in uh, like late 2021. So merely more than a year ago. Hello, Muchloth. How are you doing? Natra, don't be hurt so much. Nothing wrong with being small. Oh, Alba, you're looking for some Sherlock Holmes book. I remember reading one Sherlock Holmes book when I was in elementary school. It was about this dog. What the hell? I can't remember the name of this haunting dog, but it was really, really good. Hound of something, something, something. But it was a good one. I should probably read more Sherlock Holmes. Oh, check out this festival I was mentioning in the United States was some. I don't even remember the festival name because I was so shocked about how stupid the press release was. But it was something in happening in Jackson, Tennessee, but no bands were announced. So I don't know even what the hell it was. Yeah, Benji, I'm sorry that Ravens didn't make to the Super Bowl or even playoffs. Personally, I'm not happy that Patriots didn't make it, but hey, we got to give some chance to other bands as well. Bands, teams, I mean. Uh, Koskan is asking about day routine habits. Work, eat, work out. That's pretty much of it. Now, spend some good time with people closest to you. That also is a very important one. Yeah, Natalie, do you know what I'm talking about pushing for interview? You know, people are like, hey, can't you ask Wag Vikernes for interview possibility and all that stuff? No thoughts on Moonlight Sorcery. And yeah, new Terrestrial Hospice. That is coming a CD here very, very soon. That's a good one. I've already listened to it, I think, twice. So yeah, let's see about that. That will be one of the better ones of the year 2023. Naturally, I'm really happy that you've gotten to the level with Finnish language so far. Uh, I don't know how to, read this name, but SHGT is asking me what I think about people who don't give a damn about subcultures and music genres. I think it's fine. You don't really have to worry about genres if you just don't give a damn. I mean, who cares about the genres? They are secondary in terms of like music first. So if you're able to like say from anything from metalcore to slam or raw black metal or heavy metal, power metal, sludge, doom, whatever, like who gives a damn? I mean, genres are tools. They should never be any kind of a priority. That is, my point here is even if you're a black metal fan, you have to understand, and by you I don't mean you, but let's just ride it with me. The thing here is, if one is a black metal fan, they should understand that every now and then comes up a band, a part, from a different genre, and might be way more interesting than the ones in the favorite genre. For example, I mostly listen to black metal and death metal, and lots of thrash metal if I find some good ones. But that doesn't mean that even though most doom bands bore the shit out of me, every now and then pops up a doom band that is really, really good. So for me, it doesn't matter what the genre is. If the band is good, that's all that matters. So it could be a country band or rap act or I don't know, opera. I hate opera. I dislike it. So the thing here is genres don't matter more than mere a tool. It's more like if you want to find a bottle of wine, of course it helps like, hey, wines are on that shelf, ciders here, beer on that shelf, vodka go over that shelf. It's just a tool. So if you want to find trash metal, of course it helps that you know where black metal or trash metal or whatever is located. Beyond that, doesn't really matter. So use tools as they're supposed to. I mean, how well would a library work without genres? If everyone was in alphabetical order and you wouldn't really figure out which way to just separate fiction from nonfiction, that would kind of suck, you know? Kaskana, that's an interesting question. Am I a spiritual person? Not really. No. I'm too atheistic, too skeptical, too fucked up to be a spiritual person. I think those who are more spiritual, they have the kind of a void in their head which they need to fill. I don't have that void. My brain is already too fucked up. Wine of divine. Morjes vaajari, terve. Hauska nähdä. Thoughts of new goat moon. Haven't really bothered listening to them yet. I don't really have time for YouTube listening. But what I noticed was a funny thing that a lot of people were like disliking it on Rauta chord, and a lot of people were praising. So it was really dividing people into two. I don't know where and when they will be playing live, but I'm pretty sure that it will happen sooner than later. Antoni is asking why a legend and classic band like Paradrum is not again on Steelfest, because they just played at Steel Chaos like last fall, like 6 months ago. So of course they're not playing there all the time. They just played it a while ago. Yes, Brian, I will keep you posted when Nightside has moved to a phase of CDs. Jack Todd, about Nightside, I can only give you links to the YouTube because I haven't had the time or more like will to put it um, on Bandcamp yet. But I am actually planning to do that some point because I think with the new material out, people are interested to listen to the old material as well. So this is the link to the album, and Annihilatus is actually out on Bandcamp. So I will give you that one as well, so you can start listening, and whoever is interested. And my duties are vocals, both bands, but on Annihilators, I also happen to be the songwriter slash crappy guitar player. Though some guitar tracks are not actually played by me on the albums, I just write the tracks. But I'm not that good of a guitar player that it kind of would suck on the albums if it was my sloppy guitar skills used. Yeah, Natred, I don't know if this New Zealand Violin is technically speaking an EP or is it full album. I got the impression of it's full album, but then again, I looked on the digital folder, the MP3 files, and it seemed more like an EP, something like 5 tracks maybe. So maybe it's an EP, leftover one, and maybe that's why on the tape. Um, SH is asking me that about Black Goat and Goat Moon interview being cancelled. And I don't know if it's gonna be forever. People are tend to, people happen to change their minds. I mean, for a few years he was like, "Yeah, let's do the interview," okay, and then suddenly he's like, "No, I'm not gonna do it." So if he can change his mind this way once, why not the other way around as well? So I would say it's entirely possible that one day Golden Moon wants to do interview with me, but never say never. And yes, Alba, thank you. It's The Hound of the Baskervilles, and that was really really good book. As much as I can remember having it being read around my teenager years. So maybe I should definitely get more into Sherlock Holmes. I don't know. I agree about I agree with Natred about it's okay to be a poser. Better to be a poser than a wannabe. I don't know. It depends. Yes, Waldman. Thanks you. Thank you. Um, Maslov is asking about my impressions about last Miss Thurming and Krallis. Krallis, haven't heard. The latest Miss Thurming album was actually pretty good. I would have gladly reviewed it, but I mean, the label is not sending any copies, so I just gave it a listen and figured out, okay, it's pretty good. So yeah, Miss Thurming is definitely worth checking out. See ya, Brian Mons. I hope I'm not too late to say byes. And I actually managed to get all the way down to the comment section. So much for scrolling the back scroll. Not read. If somebody says that favorite album is Roots, it's pretty weird. But then again, I also understand because it's something different. Personally, Roots was the album for Sepultura that pretty much killed my interest for the band. I mean, I love Arise. I dig Beneath the Remains. I even like KSAD a lot. And Roots was like the Saint Anger of Metallica with, Sepultura in a way. So yeah, it's weird that some people like it so much, but I don't know. People are weird. Oh, Waltman, that sounds like a good plan. I gotta say, Benji, Panzer Division Marduk wasn't my first or even the second Marduk album, but I still think it's the best Marduk album ever. Hands down. Yes, Halbeard, thanks for being the moderator on the chat. I will send you a um, virtual beer. Yeah, Alba, you should definitely come back to Rauta. We could even make an adult only channel for, people who cannot stand the kids, right? And then you would be back, right? Yes, Kaskena, definitely. There are a bunch of good shows you should be watching. I don't know if you're aware, but I'm actually doing a TV show and movie reviews on the adult channel Rauta Beyond. For example, I just finished watching Winning Time, a great HBO series based on true events. Uh, for example, the first career steps by Magic Johnson and Los Angeles Lakers. I'm not a basketball fan, but I love the show. It was really, really, really good. And now I just started this show called We Own the City, which is written by one of the makers who wrote The Wire, one of the best TV shows ever. And based on one episode and then some, I was starting to fall asleep last night when I was watching the episode two. It's really good. It is, to me, it feels like the kind of a successor of The Wire. And lately, the best television out there has been The Last of Us. It's really good. Actually, the fifth episode is now out, and I should be watching that instead of talking to you, right? But here I am. But anyway, four episodes in with The Last of Us, and it's brilliant. It's super good. On top of that, my next review will be on Rather Beyond about the show, the British one called Slow Horses, which is about MI5 agents. Well, that is in UK, and starring Gary Oldman, one of the best actors of all time, I think. And you know, he is this very, very obnoxious character. Being this kind of a grumpy yet intelligent, very smart agent, but he's fed up with everything. It seems like he just hates everybody who is working for him. He's just being arrogant prick, But that's only half the story. There's a real agent story, and I think the first season was 6 episodes, and it's good. It's so much more down to earth than American counterparts, but it's an interesting to see the British take on agent stories. It's not exactly Mission Impossible or Jack Ryan's or whatever. Definitely worth a watch. And last but not least, before coming to Spain, I finished Mythic Quest season 3, which in my opinion is the best geek show ever. It's about gaming industry and gaming industry memes and shit, but it's a kind of a comedy drama. Really fun, but you kind of have to be ready for some cringy, awkward elements. I really like it. It just bites my humor nerve, if you get what I mean. Very brilliant ways. But it's not everybody. Some people just can't stand the humor in that show. But for me, it's fantastic. Maybe because I'm a gamer, maybe because I work in the gaming industry. But it's really, I mean, it seems to understand the humor and the terminology, all the right words in the gaming industry. Wonderful. And Severance, which is a bit of a mindfuck show with a very low sci-fi, but nonetheless sci-fi crime well, not crime but mystery drama. I featured already the review on Rauta Beyond, so I will be updating my show and movie recommendations on Rauta Beyond channel. So if you're looking for something to watch, that might be one source. And of course, we discuss TV shows and movies on Rauta Discord. So whatever. Roots being slightly better than Chaos 80. Get the hell out of here. Yes, Halbeard. That's the way to. We should really have the kind of a old grumpy ones channel on Rauta Cord. Hello. How you say it? Cecilia? Well, Taylor. Let's call you Taylor. Hello. Welcome to the stream, and feel free to shoot me with questions. Joe Moon is asking me, have I ever seen fights from King of the Streets YouTube channel? No, but I know the channel actually because a friend of mine, I think he was coaching a fighter friend of his or something like that for the channel. So I should probably give it a go. But yeah, I haven't seen it. Jack Todd, yes, that War Inquisitor name is something that I've used for Annihilators. Yes, Taylor, definitely. The Boys is one of my top 3 shows of all time. Brilliant. I'm waiting for the season 4. And yes, Banshee is also a good one. I would definitely say it's worth a watch. I don't know why Banshee is so often overlooked. In my opinion, what it lasts like 3 seasons. I watched it many years ago. I think it's really good. Actually, that is also the show that brought me the Methodic Doubt artist who made the title song for Banshee. Actually, bought 2 albums by Methodic Doubt because of Banshee. The music is that good, in my opinion. Yeah, Alba, you should definitely come to Rauta Code and we can have a private channel for grumpy old men talk. Naturid, Mythic Quest like is an opposite of Big Bang Theory. I would say it's more closer to Silicon Valley and Entourage. So I think someone put it nicely. Where in Big Bang Theory, people are laughing at nerds. With Silicon Valley, you're laughing with nerds. And I think that's a pretty goddamn important thing to say. So, yeah, Big Bang Theory is stupid sitcom. Mythic Quest is a drama comedy. Major difference. It's almost like talking about, you know, extreme metal bands versus black metal bands. Might sound the same to people who don't know what they're talking about, but it's not the same, as you probably know. No, Satanic Warmaster is not NSBM. That's just that's just people, you know, simplifying things. Thank you, Jack Dodd. Yes, it's me on the vocals. I am the original vocalist of Nightside, and I'm the current vocalist of Nightside. There was one album recorded without me, but never released when I was out of the band because I quit it to focus more on Annihilators back in the days. So I was out from the band for like maybe 2 years before it quits. And then the original drummer and me and one of the previous guitarists get Nightside back on track. So yeah, that's me. But I must say the new vocals are a lot better than what you're hearing on the album. Now I am pretty happy with the vocals on the album, but I would say the demo vocals are a lot better. So if you like those vocals on the album, I think you're gonna just love the vocals on the demo or whatever album it's gonna be once it's out. So thank you, Alba. I will fix some information on the in the channel. Let me just remind me about the new channel we're gonna have. Let's make it a very exclusive ones, okay? And maybe we can focus on some different topics there without the kids on the board. All right, Natharet, fair enough. Mind you, Entourage is actually one of my all-time favorites. Maybe not on top five, but I really like the vibe, the general feeling, and Ari Gold and the brother of Vince. I mean, they are greatest characters. They are cringy, and I love the kind of cringy they are. Really, really nice. Yes, I do like stand-ups. I definitely prefer people like Bill Burr or what the hell is this? Pablo Francisco and George Carlin. There are plenty good ones nowadays and from the 80s, 90s. For example, Eddie Murphy, you know, in the 80s. He's great. And of course, there are some new ones like Anthony Jeselnik. He's a really, really good one also. So there are plenty of good stand-up comedians. I also like Ricky Gervais, and I know he pisses a lot of people off. But what can I say? I like when it gets kind of a roasting mode. I know it's not for everybody. That's kind of a given, but you know, good stand-up is really great. All right, what else? Um, Thank you, Taylor, about the analysis of NSBM video. I know probably some people don't really agree with me about it at all. But personally, well, what can I say? That's my take. There are parts one and two, and I don't know if there's anything I need to elaborate on that. I've been thinking about getting back to some older topics which I previously dealt with some, say, 3, 4, even 5 years ago. But then again, I kind of want to look forward. And those NSBM videos were kind of like a lot liked, and I think they made a lot of sense to people, so that it's not just black and white, like anti NSBM and pro NSBM. For example, I'm very neutral. I can listen to a lot of NSBM bands without actually, getting involved with the politics and all. And then again, I also understand why some people want to stay away from that. It's a kind of a toxic thing. So I get it. It's much like that kind of a stand-up humor we're talking about. Some people cannot stand when stand-up humor gets very roasty, or when it gets very toxic, or just like dirty. I get it. Then don't. It's very, very simple. And that comes with the territory when we're talking about extreme metal in the first place. I mean, the old saying, very, very fits very well the whole thing here. Like, if you can't stand the heat, stay the heck out of the kitchen. So, like, I don't know why people are making so much fuss about it. It's almost like this Hogwarts legacy game. You people probably know what I'm talking about, based on Harry Potter lore. So some people are very much boycotting the whole game because the original author of Harry Potter books has made some comments which made trans people like, what the hell is this author talking about? Like let's boycott Harry Potter. But people also forget that this author has very, very little to do with the games, and as such, boycotting the game is essentially hurting the not only the gaming studio but also the publisher and the whole scene. My point here is people simplify things way too much. Like, for example, there are some people who say like every band, every BM band coming from Finland is NSBM just because some bands are. And I'm like, what the hell is wrong with your lack of knowledge and in history? Like, just because Finnish people fought Russia doesn't make Finnish people Nazis. People are way too black and white. That's all I'm saying. And just because they ignore things don't mean that they are exactly true. However, there are people who get the benefit of that. For example, I don't want to get too much political, but just saying this one before I change the subject is that, for example, Vladimir Putin of Russia was at some point saying that basically everything from west of Moscow is kind of a Nazi. I mean, he was declaring whole Sweden Nazi. Now, people who are calling some bands or scenes Nazi is basically just repeating that narrative. And you can probably figure out where that leads. It means that people are even more divided into two, us and them, red and blue teams. And who is going to benefit of that? You know, think about it. I'm not gonna do some kind of a blue pill, red pill kind of a matrix things, but it's the powers that be who benefit of people being divided. It's not the normal Joe who is taking the benefit of turning brother against brother. So when people are getting world in black and white, divided into ones and twos or zeros and ones or whatever, men versus women or all that stuff, that's powers that be benefit. They're like, okay, let's see who wins the game. Bring your money. It's the elite that who is going to be safe when the world starts to burn. It's not going to be you and me. We're going to burn down right there. So before you get into this kind of a black and white thing, when things are just zeros and ones, red and blue teams, mind you, we're going to lose, not them. So people should be more open minded and see the shades of gray rather than extremes of black and white. Alrighty. Yeah, Ricky Gear based. I like that one, Edward. Oh, Alba, let's see about it anyway. But glad to have you back. I mean, I respect you and I'm happy that you are around rather than away. Just bear that in mind. Like I said, it was great to meet you in Glasgow back in the days. And I still hope that we get to meet and talk more face to face as well. One can't have too many, sane people around him, right? All right. What else? Iron Peel. Yeah, that's what I like, Natrid. You got the word. Mm, okay. I'm having hard time to scrolling sometimes because my mouse needs the USB, and I'm lacking the USB connectors here with my laptop. One is for the mic and headphones, one is for the camera, and my yeah, you got it right. So this touchpad sometimes acting up weird. Um, okay, I'm reading the back scroll once again. Bill Hicks is also a great comic from the 90s. Yeah, it was a very cynical, and I like it. SH is asking me if I like crust punk. Not too much, but there are crusty bands that are quite okay, but more maybe on the live side than listening to on albums. And Kaskane is asking when are we gonna get Satanic War Master Part 2. Well, that was already recorded 2 years ago, but he wanted to removed. So I don't know. I'm hoping this year at Steelfest because Pest is playing there, and Pest is led by, well, with none less but Satanic Warmaster. So I'm trying to get Satanic Warmaster Part 2 this year. But if he gets too drunk once again, who knows? Tony Hinchcliffe. Okay, all right. I'll try to keep that in my mind. Yeah, check that. I totally agree with your comment about J.K. Rowling. I mean, basic biology is what it is, but these are very hot potato topics. It's just easier to just not talk about it and not worry about it. I mean, it's crazy that we cannot even talk certain topics in a civil ways. So it's just better to ignore them, right? I mean, it sounds fucked up, but that it is. It is what it is. Yes, not ready. US versus extraterrestrials. And personal, I don't give a fuck if you're black, white, green, yellow, or kind of a rainbow colors. I don't really care. I mean, if you're a sane person, check. If you like metal, check. If you like beer, even more checks. If you're in powerlifting, that's four checks, like four aces in a sleeve. All I'm saying, be a sane person. That's not that hard, really. Oh, Waldman is asking me an interesting question. What are the things I discovered while living in Spain? First of all, food is good. Wine is cheap. People say often hello to each other. Whenever I encounter people, you make an eye contact and they're bound to say hola, buenas. So people over here greet each other very often. I think that's kind of nice, really. But for a Finnish person, it sounds also quite weird. Why are you saying hello to me? We don't even know each other. And also, there are no gigs here. I mean, metal is not a thing in southern Spain, it seems. Alba, you moved to Australia. What the hell? Mind me asking, why? In case you're wondering, by the way, why I wear so much clothes, I can also feel the, you know, air moving by the window. It's cold. Yeah, Stalker was supposed to play in Australia, and they got cancelled. And I was supposed to make a video about it, but basically, it's the same story that I did about Talke some 3 years ago when they were cancelled in the United States. I don't know if I should revisit the topic with the new one. I mean, I kind of like to, but then again, my calendar is pretty full for the next 2 months already. So yeah, I don't know. Let's see about it. But the Satanic interview, Satanic Warmaster Blur. I think it was partly or mainly because of the comments. I mean, he was hungover, looking quite bloated and all that stuff. And suddenly everybody had the only one opinion about him, not what he said, but how he looked. So I guess it starts to get annoying after a while. Terve vaan Tiia, moro mitä kuuluu. All right, Alba. Family reasons. That's fair enough. Yeah, Steve Hughes. If I remember correctly, Steve Hughes is a metalhead. Isn't he the guy with the long hair and all that stuff? I think he had some Australian metal scene background, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm confusing, but I think yes, checked out. But you know what I mean. In the end, if the color of one skin is defining his personality, his or hers, that is, I think that kind of tells how fucked we are. It's almost like saying, like, yeah, you wear the wrong kind of a band shirt. You have Iron Maiden. I'm Slayer, man. Let's fight. Like, I don't know. I like to think that a lot of metalheads, most metalheads, are kind of a sane people, and our culture is made with riffs and certain kind of imagery and lyrics and all that stuff. But still, we can connect. Whether you over there have a Motorhead shirt and the guy to my next to me is wearing a Satanic War Master. This guy has a Napalm Death one. I have a Slayer one, and we can still be, very much on the same page. That's all I'm saying, basically. I mean, these are all different kind of themes and lyrics and genres, and yet at the same time, we can really just, I'm not saying we're a bunch of big family or anything like that. When I was younger, I had this naive thought that metalheads could be kind of a united tribe. I didn't word it out like that back in the days, but I kind of felt like if I saw another guy, on the streets, and he would have a long hair and a band shirt, we would be kind of like-minded. Nowadays, I of course know that's bullshit, but I also think that metalheads are kind of a tribal. Like, for example, if you go to a big festival like Wacken, I mean, Wacken is a great festival and with great people, lots of fun moments and good memories from those years I was in Wacken. My point here is, even though you could meet these total strangers who might even like totally different bands than you, might have totally different shirts than you, might even have a different language, after a couple of beers, you could just be, singing about Manowar or doing Manowar lyrics or talking about, Satanic War Master or what have you. The point here is, we are, after all, kind of a tribal species, human race. Species is better word. So in a way, while I was naive and totally lost with my grand idea, the thing here is, it's not that far fetched in the end. Yeah, checked out. Of course, you were making a joke, but I don't take jokes. I lost my humor on the altar of iron. Yeah, that was a funny thing that Pantera got cancelled in Germany. Now, the thing here, I think one of my friends pointed out, why on earth would they even book Pantera if they already knew that his comments were going to be brought up? It's almost like cheating audience. Buy the ticket. We booked this and that band. And then when people have already bought those tickets, you're gonna just like, okay, that band got cancelled. Now, if that isn't like fooling your customers, I don't know what the fuck is. I mean, it's not like this Pantera, these Phil Anselmo things happened yesterday. They happened years and years ago. So first they book the band, and then they say, yeah, he made some toxic comments years ago. We're gonna cancel him. Like, what the fuck? That is, in my opinion, that's cheating the customer, really. That's like luring you in to buy the tickets. And once you have bought it, just cancel it. That's just, I mean, they should be held accountable for that kind of shit. Imagine if you spent hundreds of dollars or euros booking a hotel, booking a flight, buying this ticket, and then you know that the bands you're looking for got cancelled. Then you're like, okay, I already booked the hotel, I already booked the flights, and even if my favorite bands got cancelled from the festival, I'm gonna go anywhere because I already spent that money on hotel and flight tickets. That's fucked up, really. I think that that festival should be accountable for the kind of a cheating. Now, SH is asking me, like, do I like Finland? Yes, I do. Finland is quite expensive, but it's one of the best countries in the world. Why? We have world class healthcare. Uh, we have really democratic system, low corruption, low crime renewal rating, and all that stuff. I mean, the winter times can be quite shitty, but we have beautiful nature, and summertime in Finland is great. Spring, pretty decent too. Fall, quite okay. And we have a lot of metal. So if you're a metalhead, I mean, Finns have most metal bands per capita. So if you're a metalhead, Finland is a very, very good place to live. And yeah, the new D666 album is pretty killer, like I said in my review. Oh yeah, Benji, Slaughter Lord. Yeah, thanks for reminding. Did you know him being pen pals with Quarthan? I can imagine that in Russia it's not customary to say hello to strangers. No, not more than in Finland. Taylor likes to have a winger t-shirt on. Why not? I mean, why not? Yeah, I get it. I mean, those walk times can be a bitch at Wacken. I was in the press VIP area, so for me it was like more like 5 minutes walk to the main stage. And between the main stage area, there was this VIP bar where artists such as, say, Destroy 666 Guy or Shane Embury from Napalm Death or guys from Dismember or Dimmu Borgir would hang out with the press and their, you know, band's girlfriends. So can't really complain. From VIP point of view, Wacken was great. Koskana is asking, do I still practice the guitar? No, not really. And especially in Spain, I don't even have the guitar. I basically play the guitar when Annihilatus is active, and when it's not, I don't even touch the instrument. I'm more a vocalist, really, than a guitar player. Taylor, sounds like the music club work was nice. Where are you located? What kind of a music club you have, wherever you are? Joe Moon is asking if I practice calisthenics besides powerlifting. Well, if you count dips and chin ups and other body weight training, part of calisthenics, yes, I do. Actually, today, for example, I did CC squats in part of my leg day regime. 20 years without metal gigs. That sounds like you were sick or ill. What's my opinion on Nietzsche? I think Nietzsche is pretty good. I think nihilism is a very important part of uh, German 19th century philosophy. But I'm more a Schopenhauer guy than Nietzsche guy. Benji, the weather in Spain difficult to get to used to. Not really, because I mean it's not that warm here. I mean January and February. It's actually been quite cold. Not as cold in Finland right now, but I mean it's more like I don't know, March, April feeling of Finland right now, or September in Finland, something like that. So it's not exactly warm, not exactly cold, but only a few days that I've been able to go outside with t-shirt only. That doesn't mean I go without pants. Yeah, Tia, you should definitely come to Steelfest. It's a great, great festival. I've been there many years, and yeah, I'm glad that you bought the tickets. We're gonna see you soon at Steelfest. It's a great, great festival. Can't really say more about it. That great. Of course, I can say thousands of things about Steelfest, but I mean, I'm glad that you bought the tickets. So yeah, good thing, good thing. Waldman, I am going to do interviews as soon as possible, but it seems like nothing is happening before Inferno. That is 2 months, because, like I said, money is often the problem. Without money, it's hard to travel anywhere to do those interviews, and there are no bands here, so hard to do interviews without the bands, right? SH is asking what's my favorite metal related movie. I cannot think of any metal related movie which are actually good. Maybe I'm forgetting, but I don't really remember. Oh, New York hardcore. New York is one of my favorite cities of all time. God damn, you must have had a blast. New York area. Man, when I was reading the um, typo negative, or more like Peter Steele biography last summer, I almost like felt like I was in New York myself. I mean, I felt like I should have been there back in the days. I've never been a typo negative fan really, but the thing here is that New York scene must have been wonderful, especially back in the days. I also remember when I was watching this Twisted Sister documentary a few years ago, and they did a lot of gigs outside and inside of New York, and sounds fantastic with all the bands being right there playing live and all. Wow. Yeah, Natural. One thing I learned about gym life in Spain, especially the one I've been to. It's kind of a bodybuilding gym. Most people, it seems, are more or less involved in bodybuilding, like couples, guys and gals together going to the gym and doing bodybuilding. And then there are lots of individual bodybuilder type of people. Haven't really seen powerlifting guys like at all. Maybe one guy actually did heavy squats, and there's no place for me even to do deadlifts. I mean, I did, but it's a very, very stacked, very, very full of equipment. Not so much free weights, but they're free weights. There's just no place for to do, for example, deadlift. So anyway, this gym I go to, it's kind of a cozy, it's kind of old school feeling, but it's definitely bodybuilding oriented. And a lots of these guys carry a camera stand. You know, they have this kind of a tripod, and then they set it up to just like, "Oh, I'm gonna do some bicep curls. I'm gonna flex my like, you know, chest." And it's so weird. I mean, I usually when I do film some of my lifts, it's when I'm going for my personal records, like really high volume, not high volume, but I mean like heavy squats or heavy deadlifts or something like that. And these guys have tripods, with their cameras, like often. Like I go to this gym like 3 times a week. I'm doing this kind of a Ryan Hamilton PPL, push pull legs program. It's bodybuilding in a way, anyway. And It's been something different. I was meant to talk about it on the stream, but anyway, the point here is a lot of these people, because I go like 3 times a week, and I see often these guys having a camera tripod, and well, I don't know what the hell they are, doing, but it's not like they're filming their heaviest set ever. They're just doing some kind of an ordinary thing. And maybe it's TikTok, maybe it's Instagram. I don't really care. I don't know. But it feels weird. I mean, why on earth would I be interested in some random basic leg press video or when you do your normal calf training? I understand if you're, for example, some kind of a personal trainer and you're making some kind of a how to kind of a video for your, you know, people who are paying for you to just film that stuff, but you don't probably do that in a crowded place like that. So it feels weird. Yeah. And yes, Jack, the 20 years without metal concert. I don't even remember like 1 year without metal concert. Not even during the COVID years. Yes, you need a cure. The cure. Listen to more Nightside. Drink some beers and go out with your friends. Koskana, I think discipline is one of the main things. I'll show you. My take on discipline is this one. Yes, it's a reminder for myself. Remember, Aaron Well, discipline is important. Yes, Benji, it's definitely must that you do listen to Kareli and Isthmus and Tales of the Thousand Lakes when you come here. Well, welcome to Finland. Hello, Wade Capone. How are you? I still haven't seen Heavy Trip, but I told it was pretty good. Lords of Chaos is better than people give credit to. And yeah, Spinal Tap, I should say, that's probably the best metal related movie. But no, I haven't seen Heavy Trip. People over in Norway, my Norwegian friend was making jokes to me about Heavy Trip last Inferno. And it was kind of weird that Norwegian friend was making jokes of a Finnish movie to a Finnish guy about a Finnish movie, and I haven't seen it. Yes, Nutward, build a home gym and then come to Finland. Oh yeah, okay. You have been to Steelfest every year since. Okay, I totally um, misunderstood that part. Okay, but it's good. It's good. And now I'm wondering, have we seen each other at Steelfest then? Taylor, I guess that NYC scene is interesting. Cool. Taylor, I think more metal musicians should be hitting the gym. But let's be honest about it. Most don't give a damn. They're more about booze, more about emptying their wine glasses and beer tankards than just, hitting the gym. For me, it's all about maintaining the balance. When I'm doing these kind of streams, of course, I'm going to have a drink or two. I wouldn't talk to you for 2 hours straight without, having a beer or two. Now I've been here for more than 90 minutes and barely got, you know, that glass empty. But gym first. For me, sports is way more important than any kind of beer, whiskey, or whatever in the world. So if I had to choose sports or alcohol, it would be kind of an easy choice in the end. Yeah, deadlift, squats, and bench, in my opinion, they're the trinity But I mean, whatever you people like. I like powerlifting because strength is sexy, it's useful, it's fun, painful also. But I mean, I get it by people like aesthetics. Actually, today when I was driving away from the gym after my workout, I was thinking it's different for women and different for men. You know, especially you can really see this in Spain, the bodybuilding. The women, they train their legs and their glutes. They want to make sure that their ass looks nice and their legs sexy, thighs, calves, whatever. And butt, you know, butt number one. These ladies have a great butt. The guys, they don't give a damn about their legs or butts. They care about their triceps and biceps and chest and back. So basically, guys go for the upper body, women go for the lower body. We are men come from Mars and women come from Venus. Jack Todd, with Nightside, we didn't play too many shows. I would say something like 10, 12, whatever, when we were active, from 1996 roughly to 2001. So, I mean, we were active, but there were no too many shows. So, something like that, 20 to 12 shows all in all. For Annihilators, we only played once, but it's mostly because we were two-man band, and we never did the music like live first. So it was a kind of a different setting for Nightside and Annihilators. With Nightside now after comeback, we played first comeback show in 20 years, um, in March 2022, and the second one was in February 2022. And I hope that when I'm back in Finland, we will start playing again. Yes, Wade Capone, I have seen Lord of Chaos and I also made a review video on Rauta a couple of years ago. Waldman, I haven't heard Abyss Festival. No. Thank you, Wade Capone. I think I could look even stronger, but I'm very comfortable with how I look because I don't, in my opinion, I don't look fat. I don't want to look fat. I mean, I am kind of a fat allergic when it comes to myself, but I am not also aiming to look like a six pack guy. So there has to be some kind of a balance. Well, Natrid, you might be right about Jupiter. Yeah, Jack Todd, it's important to work out all the body parts. That's exactly important. What's that Pilates? Pilates? All right, Natrid. See you later. Thanks for being here and talk to you later on Discord. Oh, Tia, it's fine. It's fine. But anyway, if you see me at Steelfest, come to say hello. Uh, okay, now I've totally forgot one topic which I was going to talk about regarding Inferno 2023 and Steelfest 2023. Now, the thing here is, I've been thinking about it for a while, and because I come from a very, very social background. Now, mind you, this needs a little bit of explaining. Back in the 90s, when a lot of us Finnish black metal dudes we hang out on IRC. I think a lot of you people, even if you've never been to it, I think a lot of you know what IRC is all about, Internet Relay Chat. So a lot of us who were born in the 70s or 80s, we used IRC for, you know, socializing, talking about different bands and topics, whatever. And as such, already in the 90s, I got to know, for example, guys from Horna and other bands. Satanic War Master, he was an active IRC user as well. So back in those days, we guys got to know one another on IRC. Then we would meet each other at shows played in Finland. For example, when Emperor show would be in Helsinki, we would meet. When there was some um, Osmos Records thing in Helsinki with Enslaved and whatever, we would be there. So we socialized online, much like Discord is nowadays IRC. And we would have these meets. They were just called meets. You know, we would just meet around each other, one another from different cities, and we would have beers. We would see the shows. We would befriend each other, right? Very simple. Talk online, then meet each other, whenever interesting happens. And this got me thinking because a lot of Rauta cord users, Rauta cord being once again Rauta Discord, that a lot of cool people are out there, and we have some interesting chats. Sometimes we argue, but most of the time I think we have chill talks about bands, about events, shit like that. And a friend of mine who is someone I got to know through a Rauta following suggested that we should really have that kind of a meeting, and it got me thinking. Yeah, that makes sense because of my background with IRC meets back in the days. I think we should definitely have that kind of a Rauta meeting. So got me thinking we should have one at Inferno 2023, and I will be talking about this more detailed when I do my Inferno 2023 preview video, like what it could be. Nothing too serious, nothing too much of a program, more like meet and greet with beer or whatever your chosen poison is. And we could do the same thing at Steelfest. Actually, I was talking to the commander of Steelfest, and he said we could really use the meet and greet area. So, once again, get inside the venue, set a time for, say, like festival day number one, and we could just set a time and like say see you at the meet and greet area, grab some drinks and talk to one another. It wouldn't be like, yeah, let's hail this bald guy from Finland, but it's more like, hey, we're just bunch of people sharing mutual interest, our love for the music, metal, beer, and just talking, having good time really. So I was thinking we definitely need to do that, both at Inferno and both Steelfest. And if things go nicely, why not other places as well? Whatever those are. Whenever I'm around at some festival, let's do organize some kind of a meet and just have good time, really. Nothing too fancy, nothing too programmed. Just bunch of metalheads. Women, men, non-binary, I don't really care. Martians or humans, animals, everybody's welcome. Just have beers or whatever drinks and talk. Simple. And you're all invited. If you're not ready to socialize, then don't come. If you are, then more than welcome. Thinking things like that. Jumoon, I take your word about Agent 47 about from the Hitman series. I take it as a compliment. So yeah, thanks. Bulkier agent. I like the sound of that. Oh, Taylor, that sounds great. Ballet is really, really good for the body. I actually know that some of the um, NFL players have taken ballet classes in order to maintain their balance. What? Did Natalie just pop up? Hello, Natalie. Long time see. Oh, yeah. She said, hey. Hey, Natalie. Nice to have you. How is German? I hope it's good. Yeah, Waldman, definitely come to Finland. Come to Steelfest. It's a good place to meet some cool, like minded people. And Waldman, too, of course. Yes, Magic 69. I remember that IRC also meant international reply coupons. I gotta say, though, I never got to use them, but I remember those IRCs with, tape trading things or whatnot. Thank you, Waldman. It's a great idea and it wasn't originally, I got the idea from me. Um, Check that I used to have a podcast too. Yeah, it's on Spotify. We did like 10 episodes. I don't know. My co-creator, co-host kind of vanished when he embarked on Archco tour. He never came to me told like he's back. So yeah. But anyway, I might still do the podcast when I'm not with the camera, but able to record some audio. So who knows if I'm going to do more podcast episode later on. I was even thinking about the possibility to do some kind of a broadcast from Inferno, but I don't know yet. We we will have to think about it. And Natalie, yes, beer, metal and beer, best combination. Das ist gut. Oh, Tia is from Lahti. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mikko Aspa has that Sarvilevyt record store. Actually, Moomin World is quite close to my home city. I gotta say, Wade, I haven't seen that 1980s movie. Nope. SK, you didn't miss the stream, but it's been rolling for almost 2 hours now. Is lucky, yes. Well, not actually rooting for anybody, but I'm putting my money, figuratively speaking, or real life. I don't know if I'm gonna bet for it, but I think Eagles gonna win. So if I'm going to bet some money, I'm gonna put it on Eagles. Natalie, by the way, are you from northern or southern part of Germany? I know you're German, but that's pretty much all I know. Any kind of a good shows lately? Now we're gonna take a look at Discord. All right. So, what did I miss? Kaskana, what is the meaning of life is 42. I guess you already knew the answer, but you just wanted to take my geek level into the question. And if you want my other opinion about the meaning of life, I can give that to as well. I've been figuring out the question since I was a teenager. I think I asked for the figure out the meaning of life when I was 15, and it really hasn't changed. That's nice info, Sir Thomas, by the way. Night Demon. Sounds interesting. Taylor, the podcast is only available on Spotify as well as on Rauta's Patreon site. I kind of wanted to give it to Patreon supporters because I mean they're after all helping me to keep the channel going, and Spotify because it was just easy. You know, Spotify has this great tool called Anchor, which lets me upload the material. So that's why those two are the chosen ones. And thank you so much, SK, once again for your donation. You're already doing more than your fair share of supporting the channel. Thank you so much. Now, people here, SK, donating that $50. Um, you have to understand this goes divided into the whole crew doing Rauta, the camera people as well as the editor who helps me with the interviews, making them look sweet because I really am not that good of an at editing. I do edit my own review videos and opinion videos and all that stuff, but as you can see, my editing skills are not on that level. So this kind of money is definitely helping our team. So thank you so much, SK. You are always really, 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 really helpful with your support. And I hope to meet you at Steelfest this year. Let's hope you can make it. And it's my time to buy you a beer. Um, Exodus. You saw Exodus, Natalie. Very nice. Exodus is a great band, or at least good one. And yeah, people, I've never been to actually Mikko Aspas Sarvilevit. I only been to Mikko Aspas home, which is a different experience. But yeah, Sarvilevit is famous underground metal shop. Underground being referring to the music sold there. And Mikko Aspa actually does some really cool Facebook updates from his Sarvilevit account, sharing opinions and takes on metal scene and whatnot. Of course, advertising his albums on sale too, but it's less about sales pitch and more about commending things. So he has good insight on things. Anyway, indeed, thank you, SK. And even though I'm soon going to finish the stream right here, I'm going to hang around for a bit. My wine glass is empty, and I don't think I'm going to refill it for this stream. But anyway, still here for a while. And yeah, should you people have some questions or suggestions when it comes to Steelfest or Inferno Festival interviews, just let me know. And I recently posted on Rauta's Patreon site that in case you want to suggest or recommend me certain interviews, you should totally do it. But so far, people haven't been really active on that segment, and it doesn't matter. I'm quite happy to pick those interviews myself, but just wanted to give you this little idea that in case you want to request certain interview, like some band, which I really should interview for reason X, and I don't even need to know that reason X. You can do it. I try to first and foremost follow the people who are indeed supporting the channel, people like SK here. But in general, everybody is free to suggest anything. Oh, Natalie, that's nice to know. And also good to know those guys can be polite and nice as well. So thumbs up for bands like that. Taylor, don't sweat about it. It's this super chat is nice, and of course it helps the whole channel because this money is then again used for expenses. But people don't stress about it. This is totally voluntary thing. Who the hell is Gentle Giant? I know one from Oulu. Kaskana is asking a really interesting question. Do I think it's better to be specialist or generalist? I think it's better to specialize in something. Like the saying goes, jack of all trades, but master of none. I think it's good to know generally broad skill set, but in general, it's good to specialize. Better to be really good at something than just mediocre at everything. That's what I feel about it. How do I find new Metallica songs? Asks Jack. I think Lux Eterna is actually a really good one. I would say it's 8 out of 10 track. Really groovy and kind of old school feeling. The second song that was released, more like 6 of a 10. Uh, kind of a mediocre one. Not boring, but not good one or memorable. Hello, Lex. Yeah, you're kind of late to the stream, but still here for a little while. Uh, Warnot interview might be possible, but I'm trying to focus mostly on international names because they are more rare in Finland than the local bands. So we'll see about that. Pretty much the only exception is going to be Satanic War Master if he says yes, because he's playing that pest show, so it would be something different. And also because I kind of a promise to bring you back Satanic War Master Part 2. He also promised to do that. So let's see about it. Tia, call. If you're coming to Inferno, we should definitely meet up there as well. And Beyond the Gates is also possible for me as well, but we'll see about it. Thank you, Gyro Lab. Yes, I'm definitely. That has been actually one of my priority one. I would definitely like to feature Not the Frost again for Rauta for a couple of reasons. First of all, this time he's doing two shows, not the first one, and also Carpathian Forest. That's kind of like double the reason. Now, I usually try to avoid doing more than one interview per band, because I mean there's so many bands that I need to interview, and giving some bands twice the time versus some bands no time at all feels like a little sense to me. But I kind of want to do another go with Carpathian Forest because the first one was done in 2017 and it was only like something like 15 minutes. And as in people who have been with Rauta for like since the beginning or more than 4 years noticed that early on my typical interviews were something like 10, 15 minutes, and lately they have been more than 30 minutes. Inquisition was more than 70 or so. My point here is I think we could do more in-depth ones. And he was actually one of the early birds, doing the interviews. He was one of the first ones to do interview for Rauta, and back then Rauta was nothing. There was like zero followers when he said yes to the interview. So this is also my way to say thank you to him in order to interview him again. I think he deserves a second chance because, now the channel is so much bigger than what it used to be when he said yes. I don't know if my reasoning makes sense, but I hope it does. So let's see if he is ready to do that. Oh, Taylor, General Giant. I don't know it from the 70s. That's good. Interesting that you like the second song more. Okay, okay. Yeah, let's see if not the first is up for the second interview. I would definitely like to do that. So I'm glad that you and me are on the same page. Yeah, Caroline, but the Wedbu and Sende interview is already agreed. That was the first one. It was already agreed a couple of months ago, I think, just via someone on Facebook telling the band, you should do interview with Rauta. And then I was like, yeah, let's do it. And the band was like, let's do it. So Wedbu and Sende it is. Let's hope they don't double down. Um, SK, no, Nightside won't be playing at Steelfest, but there has been some talks that maybe some Steel Chaos gig might be possible. So unfortunately, we're not at Steelfest, but then again, I really couldn't even do it because I'm coming from Spain and we wouldn't have time to rehearse. So not this time anyway. SK, who knows if someday, yeah, we'll see about it. Taylor, I don't know. I really don't do the counting. So there's that. Anyway, 2 hours in, I think it's time for me to go away, refill my glass, and watch the latest episode of The Last of Us. So maybe you have some last questions. Kaskana, I think kalakukko, even though it was voted like one of the biggest disappointments, but kalakukko is a dish. I think it's good and interesting. Not everybody's cup of tea. Karela piirakka, which is the kind of a Karelia pastry. That's not so much a dish. Um, it's more like a salty pastry kind of a thing, more like a snack, if you will, like replacing a slice of bread, sandwich, and things like that. And of course, if you get to eat, you know, that kind of our reindeer stew with mashed potatoes. That would be very Finnish thing to do. And of course, muikku. Muikku is this kind of a small fish, which is often deep fried, but not like with you know, not like fish and chips kind of thing, but more just like crispy fry, not deep fried, but I think it's just fried small fish, lots of salt, and it's can just you can just eat it right away like that. And that is usually sold at festivals. So it's kind of easy to just kind of grab a plate of those small fish muikku, and they can be like savu muikku, which is like smoked. So those are at least very edible. I mean, unless you're a vegetarian, of course, and usually available at fests. So it's easy to just taste them as a snack, and I can totally recommend them. Thank you, SK. Good to know. It was really good, but I liked all the episodes of The Last of Us so far. So yeah. All right, checked out. No questions. Good. And Yeah, Tia, just keep your eyes peeled for Inferno video, which I'm doing maybe in a couple of weeks. I'm still waiting for some information from the festival itself, and once I have locked some interviews, I hope to give you a little bit more information. But yeah, I will inform you about the meet and stuff at Inferno, and we should definitely do that. And if you have some Mexican friends, even better. Um, I don't know where you will be having accommodation at, but we are going to be at the hub. So the hub is going to probably going to be our headquarters for both interviews because last year we did all the interviews at the hub hotel, and I had some beers with some band dudes and other friends. So that is probably the place we were gonna be. Anyway, Koskana, thank you. Thank you for your interesting questions and all. Thank you, SK, once again for your donation. I think my crew will be happy about it. And thank you, everybody, for making comments and asking questions. That's why we do these monthly streams to answer your questions, to give you a little bit insight what's coming in the following months. And one thing I totally forgot, but you will anyway learn it tomorrow. So, Indy 5, last episode is going to be out, yeah, tomorrow. Last episode of Indy 5 will be tomorrow, and next week it will be something different. And I will reveal it here. It's gonna be Underground Trio. And it will be, as the name suggests, feature 3 albums only, which are more on the underground side and more focus on individual albums versus what Indie 5 used to have. So, roughly the same length. This first video was about 12 minutes, which is usually about the same for Indie 5. So, 12 minutes versus 5 bands or 12 minutes versus 3 bands. You do the math. And the idea is the same, to have the kind of a smaller bands featured, which are not maybe necessarily there yet. So maybe not for those who are looking for bands that have matured nicely and all, but give those bands that have only like 1 album or maximum 2 albums out or no albums out yet so far, to give them a fair review and give you a little bit of insight what to expect from them and what kind of stuff they have put out. So reviews, yeah, definitely, but now with more focus on rather than just Indie 5 putting something together. And I hope you like this concept. It's going to be more compact in a way, but also giving more focus on individual releases versus Indie 5. Anyway, looking forward to your feedback once again. Let me know how we can make this channel better. And the next um, stream should be out. Let me take a look at my calendar because I think we're going to do Inferno preview in the first weekend of March. Usually I try to do these streams on the very first um, weekend of any given month, but because I really can't postpone the Inferno Festival preview, I think the next stream will be on 11th of March. That's anyway how I'm planning to do it. So I will keep you informed. Once again, follow the Facebook posts, um, YouTube posts, Instagram, whatever, or Discord, and you will be informed. And of course, keep those notifications on so you know when things are about to start. But in case you want to know beforehand, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube and Discord are the sources. If you want your daily talk with the Rauta and people following channel, join Rauta Discord from some random talk. And if you prefer just to follow some other channels, it's fine. You do what you do and all that stuff. Um, Thanks for your comments. Thanks for being on the stream, and have a great weekend. And always remember, metal is life, and you better stay alive for some good metal shows. See you later, and see you with the next stream and all. Take care, people. Cheers. Keep peace. Yes, cheers, skippies. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, let's do it. Bye bye. And Thea, see you at the hub.